Alright, so, yeah, recording now. So, yeah, this is like the game for the 19th, I guess, and I'm doing it with the creator of this game, Cone.
Hello.
So, yeah, this is like, I kind of wanted you on for this just because, like, I think this is probably the only game I'm going to play where I have, like, the creator of the game, like, available easily at least. Or easily enough, I'll say,
Yeah,
to be on for this. But,
happy to
yeah.
be here.
I guess anything you want to say going into this?
Uh, I don't know. It's a little awkward, but this game was made. I guess there's some backstory. There's this thing like the Dream Diary Jam, which is like a Yume like fan game jam, where the goal is for everyone to either make a Yume fan game or any other kind of game that utilizes like Yume aspects and characters. So like visual novels, RPGs, stuff like that. The most common thing that people do is they usually go for like the straight up fan game, all that. I think it's kind of an insane task to ask for people because you only get a month to do it. So
Yeah,
I
it
don't want
seems like a very short amount of time, but it's. I
yeah,
mean, that's how these go usually. Uh,
yeah. This I finished mine. I submitted it like 11:45. There was like 15 minutes for the deadline. I technically didn't even make it, if I'm being honest, because by the time it finished uploading, it was like 12:18 or something like that. But they count when you first submit it, not when it actually goes through. So
phew.
I got in just under the wire.
Yeah. Uh, I'm. I probably have a lot of questions about just like. I think I'll just start it, but yeah, I have a lot of questions about going into this about how to just play the game and stuff, or how like what you had going into this basically.
Let's see. So first off, there's some fun little developer highlights. I actually don't know how you're supposed to, how people get the return effect going, like the you push 5 to come back. So what I
Ah,
did is that I had the way RPG Maker works is like events. You can have things that are running permanently, like side by side alongside everything else. So it's just like a constant ticker to make sure you're pushing the one of these buttons. It's a little so that's the reason the controls are a little awkward, but it's fine. It's whatever. It when you get a month to do these kind of things, you just kind of do whatever it takes.
mm. So this is one we have to get effects from the menu. I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I did actually.
So
Oh, go ahead.
so the first thing to notice is that this is some stock audio. What happens is that the game actually did have a plot, but I kind of procrastinated a little too long, so I couldn't put everything in. But this is a photo I got from a Google. Google used to have this program where like people users would submit photos from around the world, found like for Google Maps Street View kind of thing before Street View.
Hmm.
So it's largely discontinued, but I found a big collection of a lot of these funny looking photos, and I wanted a reason to use them for that multimedia kind of look. So that's where this photo comes from, and there's a little pixelated window frame.
Yeah.
But the main idea is that it was supposed to be kind of like about divorce, which is why you can hear very vaguely the stock audio argument sound effect in the background.
Yeah. Also,
The,
any ideas of like where this is or not really? Like as far as outside
not
the
really.
picture outside the window, I mean.
Um, I think it's somewhere. I think it's somewhere in Japan. I don't have any specifics.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
game itself, no clue where it takes place. I gave
Mm-hmm.
the main character a Japanese name.
It was
It's Mako,
Mako,
which
right?
stands, yes, which is lost child, I believe, something like that.
Ooh.
Now, Hole in the Wall is a direct reference to Silent Hill 4, which is one of my favorite Silent Hill games, one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah. One of
You can check it.
would you say it's one of the better ones?
It's one of my favorites. I know it's
Yeah.
very divisive amongst people, but I really like it, like its atmosphere, its kind of J horror leanings. I think it's very unique for what it is, and I think it probably deserves a critical reevaluation.
Ooh.
This is the second one. This is another same photo. It's been edited, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but it's from that same cache that I downloaded. I believe this is somewhere in Europe. I want to say Spain? It's either Europe or like South America,
Mm.
but just kind of these clustered up villages.
Makes me think of
I just thought it
like
would be neat.
it makes me think of like Morocco. I think just like I don't know, but like I think that's why like when you said Spain, that made me think of this too, but I'm not sure
Yeah,
really. Um,
I'm not very geographically gifted.
Mm-hmm.
So
Uh,
this was the Nexus.
or you
It's
can
a
go
bit
ahead.
little weird looking. A lot of these sound effects, the sound design is one of those things that kind of fell by the wayside as
Mm-hmm.
development went on. But all of these sound effects are actually sourced. They're real. I did them myself. They were for another project I'm working on, my next game, a JRPG that I've been working on for past couple years or so.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of lifted, since that's been in development alongside this, which is kind of like a side project. There's like a lot of resource crossover, like the sound, like the footstep sound effects.
Yeah. I'm I think I'm gonna try to try not to ask for like advice too much, just to let myself get lost a little bit. But I do have one question: Is there
Yes,
something like a bicycle effect in this game?
yes,
Ooh,
and
okay,
it is the very first door because
gotcha.
I figured it would probably be the first thing the player would be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Like there wasn't a whole lot of thought put into like a lot of the like level design in terms of like flow, which is kind of something I would like to rectify if I ever feel like coming back to this. But
Mm.
the one thing I did make sure to do was put the most important effect as in the door that the player is most likely to see first. So the soundtrack was actually done in one day, and it was kind of a mess because I bit off a bit more than I could chew. Because I'm also credited for someone else's project because I offered to do music for him because I figured it'd be a good way to get my name out there and all.
Mm-hmm.
No money because I think they're like a teenager or something, and I'm not gonna shake down a fucking kid, you know.
Yeah.
But I was doing work for them, and by the time I finished, it was the day of, and it was like 3 in the morning, and I was like, oh shit, I haven't even written anything for me.
Ooh.
So all of it was written from in a 6 hour time span from 3 a.m. to like 9 a.m.
How many songs do you think that is? Just like as an estimate.
Well, I actually have it on my Bandcamp for some reason as a
Ooh.
full download, and it's like 20, 30 something. It's a lot of music.
For 6 hours, yeah. God.
The
You
genuinely kind of.
that
But
that in itself just kind of hits me that like the crunch you're in. Also, I didn't notice the lights were out here.
oh yeah, this was a. I believe this is bugged, and I never fixed it. But
Oh, I
the
thought
idea
that.
here the idea here was that it was supposed to be an audio like puzzle. You would
Mm,
step on a tile, it would turn out because the footstep sounds don't activate when you're facing a wall or something when you're running into a wall. So the idea would be like you have to use your ears to like piece it together your way through. But I
yeah.
think I messed up one of the switches somewhere because you can just turn the lights back on and never worry about it ever again.
Hmm. So, do you think it would be best to just wait for that, or do you want me to give it a shot?
You can give it a shot.
I'll see how I do.
It's very quickly.
I think I might have gotten in a corner already. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, the idea was that when you step into like a corner or something, the lights would turn back on to give you like kind of quick little visual like stimuli of like, oh, this is where I am, this is where I
Mm-hmm.
need to go.
I can sort
But
of hear when you're like going in a direction or into a wall, but like, yeah, I can sort of see that it's like a little bit that it like wasn't fully implemented. Yeah.
yes, let me look at my Bandcamp because I have the album up somewhere.
Yeah, honestly, if I'll probably make this public. I'll probably link that too. I didn't actually know you had a Bandcamp for this one.
Yep. Let's see. 20 songs. I did 20 songs in the span of 6 hours.
Yeah. I also didn't like. I was gonna say like with the jam. Like I didn't even know you made the music yourself too. That's like really something.
Oh yeah, this was a one man. This is a mostly one man project. By the way, you
Hmm.
can interact with the rugs.
Oh.
It was it's supposed to be like those entrance mats, like you would see outside someone's home.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
yeah, music, sprite work, coding, all of that was me. The only things that weren't me were like this freeware, like free like open source kind of rpgmaker scripts. You face the wall when you push Z
Ah.
or space with the interact.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, it was a full. It was. This is like the one part people seem to get kind of stuck on, which is just figuring it out. which is something else I'd like to address, but I probably won't because it's been like a year already, and I haven't touched this game outside of like one game-breaking bug someone discovered.
How did you edit the sprites in this?
I used Paint.net, which is like a
Ooh,
freeware kind of like paint application. I'm sure there's like better stuff. I know there's like Asprite,
yeah.
something whatever it's called. Because I know my friend uses that. He also does like sprite work and stuff. And I never figured it out. I just open Paint.net and I go mouse like with my mouse pixel by pixel.
Honestly, gives it like here. I think it just sort of gives it like I'm not good at describing like just how digital art just comes out, but like I think like the stuff here feels like a nice quality enough that like I think came out pretty nicely.
Thank you. That is something you can interact with the big blue outline. Just for
I
future
see.
note, that denotes an effect. It'll have a big blue outline. It'll let you know.
I'm guessing
This is the
this is
first.
this is not the bike effect, but ooh, is that cat
And
outfit?
it was supposed to be a bunny rabbit, but RPG Maker sprites are 32 by 32 pixels, so there's not a lot of room to like convey that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I believe what was it? Was it A or S? The instructions would tell you
Oh, right.
like every effect has like a little bonus effect. Most of them are just it's all purely cosmetic.
I
Like
think it
this
might have
one
just
is I
got
think
disabled when I did that. I'm just gonna. Oh, okay, right. I forgot that S removes it.
yeah, it's a bit of an awkward control scheme, but that's because RPG Maker buttons are very bizarre. It's like in the editor they tell you what the buttons are, but it's like L R A B C, but none of them correlate to anything. It's complete nonsense. I have zero clue what any of them mean. I've been working. I have like 800 hours in it.
Yeah, like I don't. I guess I'm also wondering too. Since I mean, you'd call this a Yumi Nikki fan game, right? I mean,
Yes.
yeah. Wondering like, I know this is made for Green Gyrojan and all, but like, I play some games where it's like sometimes that moniker is like really awkward when it gets sort of applied to people. So, or when it gets applied to certain games that like, um, maybe the creator doesn't really see them that way or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's good to know. I guess I'm wondering like, what's your history with Yume Nikki and also like RPG Maker in general?
Uh, when you're like me and you grow up kind of like broke as shit, pardon my
Yeah,
French, and like you're gonna have a lot of money going around. Freeware is usually your go-to. I had like a regular Windows Vista computer for most of my life until it burned down. But that's a different story altogether. So I was drawn to like mostly just stuff I could get my hands on for free. So piracy, emulation. I believe Yumeniki came to me because I saw Uboa in one of those like top 10 scariest moments in gaming
yeah, something like that
kind
for
of
me.
deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that looks neat, and it's free. So I tried it out. I fiddled around with like the English patch, getting Apple locale running, and my first like experience with it was very eye opening in a sense because like up until then I had mostly just been playing like your Scrimblow, Bimblow, Banjo Tooie, Banjo Kazooie, Super Mario, and
yeah.
stuff like that. My idea of games never really like expounded beyond that until I played Yumeniki, and it was kind of like a whoa, games can do that. That's crazy. And ever since then, it's just kind of been like one of my favorite games of all time. I hold it in that regard. I play it every New Year's. Like New Year's Eve, I boot it up, I run through it. The clock turns midnight. That's how I bring in every New Year.
That
It's kind
sounds
of like an
really.
old habit of mine.
That's a nice kind of magic to it. I like that.
Yes. So I was working. So with RPG Maker, I had always kind of had ideas of like making games. I had like little notebooks margin. In my margins, I'd like doodle ideas. They were concepts. I even still have a lot of them like laying around my house, just kind of like my very earliest ideas. And it wasn't until sometime in eighth grade, early ninth grade, I want to say, when I started messing around with RPG Maker. I illegally acquired a copy online, and I messed around with it a lot. My very first project was, this is embarrassing now. This is gonna fucking carbon date me, but it was an MLG parody game,
Oh my god.
RPGmaker. It
Yeah.
was ancient, and it was one of those early experiences of like it was a lot of, even though it was really like kind of a dumb in retrospect, it was also really good practice. It helped me learn a lot of basics about RPG Maker, about coding in general, and from there on, I started making a bunch more games, or at least attempted to. Not all of them worked out because I was a teenager and I was kind of in committal towards a lot of my ideas and projects. So, like, my first one was like, I think a Persona clone, an attempt like Earthbound clone. There's lots of like trying to take things I liked and trying to make something, like big air quotes, unique.
Mm-hmm.
And while not all of them panned out, it gave me a lot of practice and stuff. And so the Dream Diary Jam, I had known about it for like a while, but I couldn't do it mostly because I was in high school. I had obligations like marching band and stuff, so I didn't really have the time to like really get around to it. But I was in college now. I didn't have any real obligations during the summer. I was like, hey, I'm going to make something. I'm going to commit to finishing an idea. So that's why I joined the game jam, because I thought having, that kind of deadline, that kind of like structure would really put a lot of fire under my ass and I'd get something done. And I've been working with it for like ever since. I've been working on it. I have a project in the works at the moment. It's probably not even due for like a 23, maybe even like a 24 release. Mostly because it's like, not to discredit this game or anything, but it's like an actual like JRPG and all that, and that takes a lot more time to be realized. But I'm very proud of this game. I'm proud of what I got done. It's a good showcase of my abilities.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm still like very impressed that you made this game in the time that you did. It's like, I don't know. It's just like really, like it seems like it has a lot of thought put into it. Even in like the rush, it feels like.
Yeah. So the idea for the plot of this game, it was supposed to be very loose. It was about a girl whose parents are getting divorced, hence the name, separation anxiety, and the arguing. And the idea was just kind of extrapolate off of like a young girl's fears and just kind of like the fears of like separation and stuff like that. So as you can tell by like the school here, some of it's just surreal for the sake of being surreal, like the big like stacked up desks, which where I was inspired by the movie Poltergeist, like how they do like the chairs getting suddenly rearranged.
Was that like the '83 one? Or
I think so. I think that was the movie.
I don't know if there's another one. I just like that's the only one I know that's from like the '80s or something like that.
Yeah.
Also love this scrolling background here.
Yeah, this was a big hit. Among the few people who have ever bothered to play my game and talked to me about it, every single one of them have pointed out this one room as something they really like.
Yeah.
So like, I'll explain more when you get to like the outer worlds, but like the big theme for a lot of this game's designs was isolation, which is like the schoolyard here full of like the faceless children who just kind of have that goofy ass laugh. Or like the ocean world you're in with the big UFO, alien, the other outside.
Yeah.
It's the big thing in the middle of nowhere. I don't want to like try and like explain everything. I want to let you come to your own conclusions. This is kind of like just a general idea for like what I was aiming for. Not a lot of it managed to get portrayed due to like the time constraints. Like for example, this game actually does have cutscenes.
Oh, does it?
I never finished all of them because it's not my best art. It's not my best work, if I'm being honest. I've done a lot more impressive things since then. But what happened was I was using my Wacom tablet to try and draw, and like 30 minutes before the deadline, it crapped out on me for some reason. Like lines weren't working, my page was like being rearranged everywhere. I couldn't get it working, and I didn't want to restart because I have like a hard drive on my computer. So it takes like 15 minutes to restart and then 15 minutes to boot back up again. So I couldn't afford it. So there's only 2 in the game that actually made it through. There was supposed to be, I think, 4. Oh yeah, this is the first instance of the game's. Like, I know the game has a warning page for like violence and stuff. I think this is one of the few moments of it. Very understated.
Something also, I was thinking about with like Jimmy and Nikki that like even though it's like it's a game that has like these very like I keep doing that. Hold on. Like it's a game of like very few rules, but that like that sort of just led people to sort of like create like an insular genre from there because of like because there's like a certain set of like maybe not even rules, just like guidelines of like making a game of like dialogueless exploration like this. Maybe some do have dialogue. I think it just sort of depends. But I guess I'm wondering that like I imagine you've seen like some people playing your game and stuff like that. Do you ever get anything like interesting from seeing people playing it? Like anything, like I guess trying to connect that with you, Nikki. Like, do you ever just see like ways people play your game that's like feels very individual to each person or anything like that, or just anything interesting about seeing people play your game in general?
Good question. First thing is, it's always weird. That's just the nature of the beast when you come to creating things, and you have to realize that you can be observed and like watched by other people, and they can come to conclusions. But outside of that, I do think it's interesting seeing how people tackle the world, what conclusions they come to, the general reactions to things. One thing I found very interesting was that everyone who's played it managed to like 100% it, even without any guides or whatever, which kind of blows me away, if I'm being honest. Because it's not like I made anything too unintuitive, but people managed to just kind of stumble their way into finding basically everything the game had to offer, which I consider a strength.
Yeah.
People have told me their own conclusions. Because let me see. I saw one guy who was streaming all the game jam entries, which is how I first found out like someone had covered my game, and it was interesting seeing the just like the praise, seeing the kind of like conclusions people draw. I think one of the, how do I phrase this? Not like, someone told me I was watching them play the game, and they came to the conclusion that it was a trans allegory, which was interesting.
I was gonna say that I saw a thing with the bathroom and like how like the students were just sort of blocking her from entry and stuff like that, and like I guess I can kind of see why they say that at the very least. Like,
yeah. Also, this is, here you go. This is one of them. These were done in very, very short time frame. It was kind of a last minute idea, and the idea that was supposed to be portrayed here was kind of like, oh yeah, lower your headphones.
Oh well. Damn.
The idea was supposed to be body. God, this goes on for a long time. How long is it?
I think I kind of had to exit out the window a little bit, so that might have made it take longer. Anyway.
But that was like the game's kind of prerequisite spooky kind of like event. The idea there was supposed to be body, I guess, like is dysmorphia the right word? It's not like
guess so.
But like kind of being insecure, kind of like how Silent Hill 3 kind of tackles hints at like the ideas of like the body and like kind of uncomfortableness about it. That was the intention with the girls blocking off the restroom and like the whole being cannibalized by yourself kind of nightmarish imagery. And, like this kind of self-loathing, like not being happy with how you look, which now that I'm saying this out loud, I see how they got the conclusion now. But that kind of like that was the intended idea. Just kind of like I was trying to focus on like things that like, I don't know, like I'm a guy, so I have a couple sisters, so I don't have like I'm not a permanent source, but like there's kind of things I've seen them like talk about and like deal with, and that was kind of the inspiration I got for like some of the imagery in this game. It's kind of like fears or like insecurities and stuff like that.
Also, thank God you put amazing in your game. I was worried.
But
Uh,
yeah, I forget what the button is to do the interaction. Yeah, she does. She casts a little spell.
nice. It's probably I should probably experiment with these a little more. But oh, also something I wanted to say too. I noticed that the hammer when you equip it, that the students run away from it. Nice touch.
Yes, it's I forget what effect it is in Yuminiki because it's not the knife inherently. The knife just lets you kill, but
Mm-hmm.
there's something that like makes like the creatures walk away from you.
Yeah, I
And
don't
so
remember.
I combined the two of them into just like one big kill and scare kind of
Mm-hmm.
item.
Do you remember which effect
You,
it is? I don't. You mean Nikki? I mean.
um, it's not the cat. The cat makes people come towards you. It's something else. I forget. But
Oh, wasn't it something that
you
like it's not like an inherent effect of it, but it's when you hit the button, it like causes people to be repelled from you. I guess something like
yeah,
that.
something
Yeah,
like that.
because the hammer in this, it just sort of inherently makes people go away, which is a little bit different, but like
Yeah,
same, basically similar effect. Yeah.
yeah. It's the intended solution for the bathroom. It's like you can't get in. You threaten them with violence. You can get back in.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, from the few gameplays like teasers I've seen, some people just let them be. Some people murder. The UFO area was actually the first area design, which is why it looks a little rough because I was still figuring out how animated tiles even work, how to like make stuff work. But the alien, for example, is just a reskin, just a palette swap of the main character.
Ooh, I didn't notice that. Also, I like sorry to say this, but I didn't notice it was a UFO until you said that. But that makes sense now. It also makes the interior of this like a lot like cooler now that you said that. Honestly.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. There's a lot of detail being put into this area specifically, like the water effect on like the stairs. That was
Oh
a
yeah.
separate tile set. All those little details, and you can I forget where it goes. I tried to maintain that level of detail for all the sprite work, but like I said, but when you have 30 days, you can only get so much done.
Yeah.
So some areas are a little less finished than others.
Was
One of the biggest. Go ahead.
oh, you mentioned that like you wanted to put cutscenes in this game but didn't have time. Was there like an intention to put like more levels or anything like that?
There were going to be more fleshed out levels, but because of the time constraints, what I ended up doing is that in the library maze, like the big maze area,
Mm-hmm.
those little books you can interact with take you to small snippets of ideas that were supposed to be more fleshed out, but never were. So I kind of like took the resources that I couldn't turn into full-fledged like areas, and I just made them little mini areas. It's like diving into a book.
Yeah, that's like I think I actually need to go back there because I only got like I think an effect and then got teleported somewhere else. But honestly, kind of works with like I guess the idea of like when you're dreaming, you're making. Actually, wait, how? I'm trying to remember. When you're at the hub, do you actually just go to bed and that initiates this?
You climb into a hole in the wall,
Right,
kind of like
right. Yeah. I was.
Silent Hill 4, which was where I got the idea. Because in that game, when you enter the hole, when you enter the other world, and when you leave, you wake up straight back in bed, like it's implied to be a dream of some kind, kind
Mhm.
of that dream-like state.
Yeah, it's less like a
Um,
thing of like, oh, you go to bed, so that means you're dreaming. It's just like a thing of like you don't actually remember when you fell asleep like that.
yeah. Oh, you're just speaking here. You're right.
Yeah, I was basically like uh, saying that like if these are meant to be dreams or like stories in some way, I sort of like the connection of like the very loose connection that like these are all sort of connected as stories, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been here yet. Okay.
Like just a little man, just a little hobo on the train.
Just a little man's. Hold on. I gotta use this one more. I haven't been really experimenting.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, like, I am not really that well versed in fan games or anything like that. I sort of had the impression that you knew a bit more. Would you say that's true?
like about making fan games, or just making games in general?
Well, making fan games, but also just like ones that you've played. Like, do you have like uh decent knowledge of them? Do you say?
Um, Oddly enough, I've only ever played the original Yume.
Oh, really?
I dabbled a bit with .flow for like half an hour, and I played like a tiny bit of Tuki, but I've actually never completed any other fan game in like any other like Yume style exploration fan game to completion.
Hmm. What's been your like
It's
feeling, or was it just like a thing of like wasn't that into it, or like uh, what's been the issue? You think?
I don't really have like any kind of like beefing with them or anything like that. I respect the idea. I actually do quite like the idea, like the direction stuff like .flow took, of like being more objectively horror themed and like having its own mechanics, or like Tuki being a community effort. But I feel it's it's like a very diluted genre of game. It's not like
Yeah.
necessarily a bad thing. There's just a lot of them, so I haven't really ever gotten around to most of them. I've been hoping to change that though. I want to at least check out .flow and Tuki in a bit more detail, because I really do respect them for what they are. But in terms of like influence, I have not played any of them at the time of making this game or at the time of recording.
Ooh, yeah. Guess I was wondering too, because like I was actually I do have like a few I was sort of considering for the list, but I have been mostly keeping them off because well, partly because like if any of them wind up being as like long as Yume Nikki is, I'll be stuck in them for a while, and I have like a time constraint thing. I'm like trying to play games that I could like reasonably beat in a short time. And I'm like the type that will make a game take very long to play the more stuff there is to do in it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I also haven't had like a lot of history with Yume Nikki fan games. I don't think like. I probably played less of like I think the big two, which are Tuki and .flow, like even than you did. I don't know. It's definitely not something. I also have the feeling it's like I don't have anything against them or anything. It's just that it's like Yume Nikki just feels like the big one that it's sort of hard to get into something that's like very similar to it in that sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is like something I've been considering doing, especially since like I'm doing this whole thing this month, and I'm like wondering if I should possibly do those for like a special surprise this Halloween. I don't know. I still have to figure that out, to be honest.
I was trying to get through some spooky games this month, and then like college happened. I've barely touched any.
Any good ones so far? At least, or they managed.
We Know the Devil. I quite like that one a lot.
Yeah, I did play that one. I think I'm like a little more mixed on it, but I think my like opinion sort of changes on it as it goes. But you liked it a lot?
I liked it for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I finished it in like 2 hours. I really liked the themes it wants to explore. I thought its characters are fun. I liked its aesthetic a whole lot. Its writing. It was just, very interesting. I respect how it sticks to its guns. It goes for it says what it wants to say with its whole chest, and I can really respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm playing Silent Hill Homecoming, which is
Oh, I. All right, go ahead.
Because like another friend of mine wanted to like do like a video or some kind ranking Silent Hill games. Mm-hmm. So I was gonna play Homecoming because I need to round out my over. I've only ever played 1 through 4, and then like Downpour.
Yeah.
I even watched the movie, the Silent Hill movie, last night, just like prepare for it, because I know it kind of lips a lot of its ideas and motifs from that specifically.
Yeah, I remember Homecoming being very much like like Homecoming being like Silent Hill, the movie, the game. Very weird to think about.
Like Street Fighter.
Pretty much. I remember like Homecoming is not good, but I remember it being like the most campy one in a way that out of the like Western ones, I think I'd say I like it the most. But that's not like saying much for it. But
Yeah,
what did you think about it?
I'm still playing it. I'm only like about an hour or two in. That's an effect to keep passing by.
Oh, what, really?
Little, yeah, the little iguana.
Oh, damn. Hold on. Thank you for that one. I was a little bit. I was like, I don't mind wandering, but sometimes I just miss stuff like that very easily.
Oh yeah, you push the button.
Ooh. Does it just
It's always
change?
one of the fun ones.
Does it just change color randomly, basically?
Yeah, randomly. I
I
forget
see.
how many there are. Red, green, blue, yellow. I think there's purple, and I think that's it. So it's like 5.
Hmm. Also, how many? Actually, I could just read this and find out. Oh, so it's 6 effects. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I have one more left to find.
Yes.
So I'm trying to think. I had like. I feel like I had a bunch of questions in mind, but some of them were sort of falling to the wayside. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I was. I guess I should say I was also thinking about going back to Yume Nikki. This is I'm sort of playing this partly as like a warm up for that, and I don't know, like just thinking about it, just in the context of like a game that's sort of like this, that it's like inspired by it, but very that's like just sort of inherently takes a different tack from it. It really feels like a type of thing where you have to have like a specific mindset for it, I guess, or just like it's just like it plays a certain way that like I mean that's why it like partly inspired so many, but also or inspired so many other games, but just that like I'm trying to figure out how to say what I mean here exactly. It's that it's very specific to itself in a way that's it feels like even a lot of like when you're making a fan game like it's very hard to like sort of capture the energy of like when someone has a specific like type of gameplay in mind, I feel. And like I guess to put this into a question, I guess, like do you just see Yume Nikki as like just like a special something in that sort of sense of like how it's made a certain like a very insular genre, or just like do you think that would have been like something that would have sprung out of rpgmaker in some form or another, just by the limitations of the engine and such?
That's a good question. I think Yume Nikki is inherently unique, just in that the way it's made and all that, it can only really come from one person. In the same way, each fan game, even if they all have like the same kind of structure and stuff like that, they all kind of have their own little unique charm because it's all about your own personal interpretation of dreams and stuff. I think as for whether the genre would just emerge naturally, I think maybe it's kind of like the monkeys with the typewriters kind of deal.
Yeah.
Everything will just happen eventually. But I do think it's a good thing that Yume Nikki was the one to create such a genre. Like
Yeah.
there's RPG Maker horror, which is its own little subgenre. Your Mad Fodders, your Mesows, your Corpse Parties, all like it all dates back, of course, to PC '98, the original Corpse Party, that kind of whole deal. How it its knock-on effects of like chase sequences, items, bad endings, stuff like that. It's caught on. I forget where I was going with this. I think every once in a while, something like Yume Nikki kind of drops that just defines an entire generation, and then it just disappears. Such is life.
Yeah. Like when you were talking about that, I was also thinking about how I think like even like a much looser one that sort of appeared when I was like when I was on Tumblr and sort of like working through whatever RPG Maker game I found, I guess. I think like the Earthbound comparison would like always come up, and it's like I feel like that's something that's never been, um, or I guess I should say that it's like something that's like very hard to concretely define, and I feel like people have sort of tried anyway. But
Yeah.
that sort of wound up being a thing with like, I like what games would be put under that umbrella. Like, I guess off would be, um, uh, I think like a Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass maybe, but I haven't played that one. Um,
Yeah, I've heard that one get tossed under it as well.
yeah, and like I think the thing with off is that I don't think Mortis Ghost even played that one until, I think they only played like Mother 3 like after off was released. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It like, or what were we gonna say?
I was gonna kind of tangent about like the Earthbound inspired RPG about depression. It's like not even really a thing that exists,
Yeah,
but it gets applied to things. And it was like no one shot gets called like Earthbound like, and the creator on Twitter was like, "I've never even played Earthbound. What are you people going on about?" But I know Yuminiki has a definite Mother influence. There's of course the whole Mother world that looks like Mother on the NES. There's even a shout out to the Earthbound like tent glitch of like I don't know if you know, but like in Earthbound there's that glitch in I think Threek where you can go to like the zombie circus tent and you can just talk to like the bottom right corner and eventually a text box pops up in the game that just crashes.
oh
And
man,
in
I
Yuminiki,
heard about that, but I didn't even know that. Interesting.
yeah, in Yumeniki, there's an area in like the Mutter inspired section where you can do that exact same thing. And it's not like a game bug; it's an actual program thing because it makes you wake up instead of like crashing the game. But so the influence obviously runs very deep if they can throw a reference that esoteric into the game.
That's honestly like as far as references go, that's a really cool one. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
Like the Earthbound DNA is certainly somewhere in Yumeniki, which I guess this helps us point to Earthbound as the granddaddy of all indie games, I suppose. In a way that I hate to give those people credit, they might have been onto something.
Yeah.
But
Also, just want to say,
yeah.
love the background of
Go
this
ahead.
world. It's very nice.
Yes. Before my sister moved out, she had a printer scanner hybrid, and I came up with the idea for the doodle world I took a piece of notebook paper and I just did a whole bunch of doodles, whole little ideas. So these are actual drawings. I lost the actual paper eventually. It got lost like when I was recycling or something.
Yeah.
But this is like, as you can see if you wander around enough, the little sprites are actually I think in the background because I came up with their designs on the piece of paper I was working on.
Yeah, I love the chibi Mako in the background. That's cute.
Yeah.
I was trying to like, is that one like resembling the rocks a bit? I'm trying to spot them. Like the big sun one here.
Yeah, that's the big sun. If you go up into the right, there's those little radish guy.
Yeah, there they are.
There's actually a gameplay hint right in the background there. How the little big X in the middle of the woods there's something in the woods. I don't think I've seen anyone find it. Something substantial. It's just like a warp back to the UFO area.
I'm trying to remember where the woods are exactly.
It's in the this is another cutscene area.
I'll give it a shot. Aw.
So just kind of tying back into the divorce kind of theme of the game. Just a little minor little thing. But there was an effect in that doodle world. You passed it by. It's a very small world though, so you can just go back. It's like in and out.
I forgot to save.
But,
I don't think I did much, but yeah. I'll probably find it pretty fast. I find it very fast. I don't know about that actually, but we'll see. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, I brought up the Earthbound stuff, but that just feels like a very like loose-headed connotations. Whereas like with Yuminiki or something like Corpse Party, they like even when games don't fit, it does feel like they're following a set of like expectations for how they play and stuff.
Yes.
I mean, with Earthbound's case, it just sort of feels like there are. Oh, that was a right. I thought that was gonna warp me somewhere. That's why I didn't pick it up at first. Okay, because I think there's like similar stuff in the. Ooh. I love the Paper Mario-ish effect here. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's a paper airplane. Nice.
I had a good laugh when I was doing the sprite, and it just made it one singular like white line for standing sideways. Most of the little secondary effects you can do are just mostly superfluous, but I put them in just because I thought they would be fun. Because Yuminiki's effects also have superfluous effects that don't really do much. Well, I mean, there's two. I think there's like one you need. It's like the raincoat or something like that, the umbrella. That's it.
Yeah.
Also, it's like you can ring the bell on your bicycle. Have fun. I think that was neat, and I think it gives it. It's not something you have to do, but it certainly adds charm. So like, I wanted to do that myself.
I thought like the knife effect, like similar to this game, was the knife effect something you actually needed to get past something, or am I just misremembering?
You need it to access the little jump scare area, but it's not needed for completion. I don't think. I mean, nothing else gets locked off. I mean, you can pick up all the effects individually. You don't need one to unlock the other. But that's it. You can just touch the big stone to end the game at any point.
Yeah.
What
are you saying?
I said if you wanted to try and find the UFO, the UFO in the woods.
I would.
You could try that. There's a door over there. And there's a big rope that takes you down to the forest area.
Ah, right. See if I can find it, but yeah, I think I was or was that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I was just saying, like I was. I do remember this area. I just like I sort of forgot that it was like above a canopy of trees. But yeah, I guess also with like the Yumaniki stuff, like, or with like just talking about games that are like inspired by it or not. Like I was just finishing up Eternal Gomez or 14chan's games. I just sort of like Neftalia mostly. It's like I think it and its sequel would probably get like the closest comparisons for that, but they really feel like their own thing.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It has its own vibe it's going for that is distinct enough to separate it from Yumaniki. If you ever get the chance, his 14/? Games also kind of Yumaniki adjacent.
Oh, I
describe them.
I did play those too.
Yeah,
they're very like I like when I was playing Neftalia, it definitely seemed like the guy wanted to like it seemed like he wanted to like really focus on like how he like jumbled up space and like the transitions between like different rooms and stuff, and I don't know, I think it's cool that he has like a series of games that is basically just that.
Yeah,
and he gets like a lot of mileage out of like what he's doing with it too. It's cool.
Yeah, I think one in the first two like ? And then ? I think they're the weaker entries in the singers, but the one that's like 3 ? Oh baby, that knocks it out the park.
Oh, I actually.
That one's my.
Or sorry, go. Is this your favorite one?
It's my favorite one because it feels a lot like an art exhibit in a sense. Like especially describe it like when you go like an art exhibit and they give like the head kind of walk around and stuff.
Yeah,
that's exactly the exact same vibe it goes for, and it nails it like perfectly. I really enjoy it. Sucks that they're so hard to find, but I think that kind of adds to their charm, their mystique, if you will.
Yeah, I should probably play more of that one. I think I was playing with a friend, and we just sort of had to bounce after a certain point. But that one definitely has like just like the nicest like backgrounds and stuff. And like, was that actually the one? I don't remember if you know the room, but there's like one where you can like jump from like spot to spot. I don't remember if that was in the first game or the third one. But
I know what you're talking about. I saw that same room. I forget where.
Yeah.
I forget where it goes.
I remember that like I only didn't really like the second one. I think the first one is like it's honestly hard to pick. I think between the first and third for me. Like first one has like a lot of focus, but I don't know. Just the like areas that they come up with in the third one are very very nice.
Yes.
Hmm.
If I'm being honest, I forget. It's a big map. Um, it's like you'll know it when you see it. It's like a big it's just like a big it's got like a big entranceway looking thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to like use the rope as a reference point, but I keep. I think I come back to it eventually. So
Yeah.
this does. I guess it's good to know that this does loop. Um,
Yes, it loops. I forget how many times. I would recommend like starting the rope and like maybe head left and until you loop again. I'm trying
okay.
to remember exactly where I
Yeah,
put the room.
I'll try to find the rope again and see how I do. Okay, so it's over there. Maybe I should. Do you think I should do it like from the rope to the right here, or like?
Mm-mm. I think
Hmm.
you just pick a direction and start going. It loops the map loops vertically and horizontally. So if you just
Yeah.
hold left, you'll end up back at the rope at some point.
Yeah. I mean, usual rule I take with this game is like just to go in cardinal directions first, and then
Yeah.
see if you can't map it out a little more properly from there.
And then I think it's
Let's try the right side this time. I should have counted how many like different rows there were,
oh yeah.
but I think I'll be okay.
Like there's a good reason. No, there's nothing in it. I'm trying. It was okay. That's what it was. There was supposed to be a cutscene. It was supposed to be like. I even have a piece of music for it on the Bandcamp page that isn't used in game simply because I just never put the cutscene in.
Aw.
But which is kind of a bummer. If I ever feel like going back, I'll do it again.
Was it
But
meant to? When was it meant to trigger? You think?
the room or the event, the cutscene.
Uh, yeah, the cutscene. I mean,
You would find this little secluded part of the woods, and you would meet a character, and you would meet an NPC in there, and you could interact with them, and it play a little cutscene, and you'd wake up. Kind of like the witch, like the witch's broom effect in Yuminiki, where
oh
like you got
right,
a little moment.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's my favorite moment in that entire game. It's the one that's like stuck with me over the years for some reason, but it's the one I've always thought about.
It's
Which
a
is
really nice
you go
one.
in the yeah, you go on the roof and all of a sudden you're just like flying above the photo of Japan. And I've always really admired. I don't not admire. Something about that event has like stuck in my brain for years now. It's kind of one of those moments that makes Yuminiki kind of undecipherable for me.
Yeah,
In that like I could never write about it. I do writing for games, just in general. It's a hobby of mine. I write a lot. Yuminiki is something I could never write about. Not
yeah.
even like
I know that feeling.
yeah. It's like I don't even know what there is to say.
It's I was actually talking with about this with someone earlier too. That like the game, I don't like really the idea of like death of an author so strictly or anything like that. But
Yeah.
Yumi Nikki feels like very like weirdly authorless, not just because of like. Well, actually, no. I should say it's, a big part of it is just because like Kikiyama is not really that much of a presence, or doesn't make their presence that known, like in the wider world or anything. But it's just like with like it's just like the way the fan games have popped up and stuff like that too. It really just feels like sort of a portion of the internet in a weird way because of that like weird awfulness that Yuminiki has.
Yeah. This is a weird comparison, but it's on the mind because I saw a YouTube video about it. Kind of like I'd say like creepypasta in a sense, or like stuff like Sunderman. How they really have to start. They kind of just escape their creators in the sense that they don't even feel like things made by people anymore. Just these kind of like weird like concepts or like cultural milestones that just kind of pop into existence one day. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't to deny Yuiniki's authorial intent or anything like that, but it's just the interesting parallel. Just kind of the nature of the internet and how things just kind of they can once it's out there, it's truly out of your hands. Whatever influence it has, whatever it turns out to perception,
Yeah.
it's just kind of that's it. Once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah, I
And I
mean,
think there's something interesting about that.
I think like also because I mean at the time I don't think we had a lot of resources or anything for like how stuff would pop up. Because from what I understand, that like Hikiyama was like posting versions of this on 2chan or whatever, um,
Yeah,
and we like just in like the English speaking world, we didn't have like the um, like direct experience with that in the same way. Like there are people posting versions of the game like as soon as they finish them after a certain point, but I think the way that sort of translated it to us has like made it like even more like I think that also sort of contributed to that sort of like author like just sort of sprung out of the ether like creepypasta sort of feeling like you said.
yeah. I actually contacted Kiyama for the weird like little nightmare style Yumeniki reimagining the 3D Unity game,
Mm-hmm.
which I know people have very strong feelings about. I think it really does miss the forest for the trees in terms of understanding Yumeki's appeal. But I think as like a game, it's like fine.
Mm-hmm. I
I got
from
a
what
whole
I've
new graphics card for it. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, I was gonna say that yeah, I sort of from what I've seen, I sort of feel the same way about it.
Like it's neat that they actually somehow got contact with Kikiyama and actually like have whole new like things, but the game itself is kind of whatever.
Yeah, I wonder how one even. I think Kikiyama contacts you is the thing.
They came to me in a dream and they
Yep,
said
that
you need to remake Little Nightmares.
exactly. Uh, I think if I can't really get this to trigger, like, oh
You can just go to the ending if you want.
yeah, I think I was like, I saw it darken a bit, and I was like wondering, but yeah, I'll just
No, it's like it's a little entrance way in the trees. I can't even find it. I made the damn game. So yeah, now you can just head to the ether, the Nexus.
yeah,
But in overall, this was a very it was an experience. I talked to some people. I did work on someone else's project. Like I said, I did the soundtrack for someone else's project. I was technical help for like someone else's. Um, it was a good learning experience. I didn't really network because I don't remember. Hmm, I think we had different. I think I had a different view of game design for any other members, so I didn't really stay in contact with many of them outside of like the one person I did music for. But it was a good experience learning to speak with other devs, communicate, like build things, like make stuff, um, all that. It's game jams are good for that. You're never gonna make
yeah,
anything truly perfect in a game jam just because the time constraints. It's the nature of the beast after all.
mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed making this. I haven't come back to it in like a year now. I haven't updated it, but I still keep it around. I think it's important as my first completed thing ever. You know,
Yeah. You ever like have you been like still tinkering with it at all, or just sort of like left it be as like what it is?
I let it be as what it is. The only thing I ever fixed was when my friend told me about a bug makes the game unwinnable. I
Mm,
patched that out like day 2, and then
yeah,
that was it. I think the game as is. This is kind of what it's going to be.
yeah. I think it seems
So
like
maybe.
just I don't know, sort of works as is. I think too for like I mean for what it is too, but you know.
Yep, and that's it. Very small credits.
Mm-hmm.
The full song is like 2 minutes, I think. I don't know why I wrote such a long for this ending sequence, considering the ending is like the credits are 5 seconds long. Let
Yeah.
me see. I have the Bandcamp page open right now. Yeah, it's 2.5 minutes, and the credits like 5 seconds. I was going for
Sometimes,
a very kind of like Silent Hill-esque, like Akira Yamaoka kind of lo-fi beat.
oh yeah, like that little I don't know what the name of that instrument is, but that's just like not even like a harpsichord. That was like the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know what
Yeah,
instrument it is,
I know what
but
you're talking about.
now that you say that, I definitely hear it.
Yeah, stuff like Portishead and of course Mr. Yamaoka himself. The title screen was also very influenced by the Silent Hill 4, another Yamaoka track, the opening, the main menu theme for Silent Hill 4, because I always thought that was kind of really neat. This gliding, like dark ambience, and there's like some bozo in the corner plucking away at an acoustic guitar for some reason.
Oh yeah, well that was the mariachi something. I forget what
Yeah,
it
it's like,
is.
I forget what it's called, but yeah, that track.
I do really like that one. Also, I'm sort of
Um,
letting this one play out before I get back to that because I want to hear it. But
yeah,
yeah, I
I
don't
think the
know.
song is. Yeah, this was actually one of the few tracks I was proud of, because when you make the score for something like a Yuminiki fan game, it's all about ambiance. Yuminiki is ambient music, and it's something that seems simple, you know? You push a funny little note on your piano, and it makes like wow.
Yeah,
Because Yuminiki, even though I love that game's soundtrack, it is admittedly just a lot of just like low tones, 5-second loops. It works for that, but when you're actually writing it yourself, you start to realize the kind of intricacies that go into ambient music, creating, because it's almost like music isn't art. It's about as much of a science as it is an art. But when it comes to ambient music, that kind of score, oh yeah, that's right, the music's on. That kind of music is very it's all about feel. You have to kind of eschew traditional like ideas of like keys and melodies and beats and movement and stuff like that, because it's all about the feel. You have to make something that like sets the mood. As Brian Eno put it, you have to make music that you don't notice but you don't ignore. I think something like that. So a lot of it was just kind of me futzing around with like ambient sounds, like just big pads, trying to get the idea, get the feel for each world. So there's most of the soundtrack is just a lot of like warm, big notes. But there's a few things like this, like the title screen, the ending theme. There's like another area in the library that's like also an actual attempt at music.
which one was that? Because like I'm starting to wonder if I got there now.
You didn't. It was like a castle of some sort, and
Hmm.
there's like a little 5-second military march
You know
playing.
what? I'll go back. I want to hear it. Uh, but yeah, I definitely
Some
I heard what you mean with the like Silent Hill menu music there, like just the little riffs just sort of like going off, sort of like trailing off like that.
Yeah,
Uh, which
that
one
is
was it?
that door.
The
The
one
one
on the
on the
left?
left, one on the right.
Oh, okay. All right. I should just have a UFO equipped.
So yeah, there were two cutscenes in this game. There were two cutscenes that made it into the game, which was the discovering the photograph and like the self cannibalization. I think I'm trying to remember what book it was. It's either I think it's the green one. It's
I'll,
either like the green or purple.
I'll try the green
Whatever
one.
book takes you. But the
Hmm.
two other cutscenes were the one in the forest where you find another alien from the UFO, like do the witch event of like being a UFO. You would need the UFO event. That's what it was. You would need the UFO effect. You would meet the alien in that secret area in the woods, and you'd go on a little joyride, and it'd play like a drum and bass track, and then you'd
Ah,
wake up.
I
That
will.
never made it in the final game, unfortunately.
Man.
And the other one was for an event in the library world, which is the one we're looking for, which is like a medieval fantasy setting. And it was going to be like, you would pan out and it'd be like, just like the signs of a war and like a bunch of like corpses, but like just kind of like a weird like disquieting kind of like weird sight to take in. Thematic, not really. Doesn't really have any ties to like the main themes. I just thought it would look neat.
Yeah. No, I mean the fact that like you mentioned that most of the effects have like are sort of super influenced, but I do sort of like that like the one that people are most going to use does have like some like effect like that, just hidden under the hood or something like that.
Yeah,
There you are. No, it was the green one you said, right? That might be it.
probably.
Yeah,
It might be it.
trying to find a way over there. Probably get there eventually. But
Yeah. I was
hmm,
like, every Yumaniki fan game needs the Hell Maze, and now
yeah.
you're in it, and it's like, oh, maybe they don't.
No, I think they do. We need to be a little humbled.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage.
The crazy thing about this one is that like I don't even see like anything close to resembling a way over there yet.
The one of the fiendish things I did was that because the map loops, there are some things where you go to the top of the screen and you would end up at the bottom, and that's how you kind of get places. So I
Ah,
think if you just kind of keep heading up, eventually you loop around back to the bottom, and that's how you can access some other areas.
yeah, true. I'll try that.
So I think you go through like the witch hat, and then go up. Then eventually you end up at the bottom of the screen. I think so. The blue one takes you to the ocean. I think. I think blue one was a pirate ship.
There's
Yeah,
the
there it
purple
is. There's
one.
the purple one. Try that one. I
Yeah.
think that's the one. There it is.
Ooh.
Like the idea was supposed to be like a medieval kind of like fantasy setting, and there's supposed to be a bridge, like a set of stairs that you would go up, and that would trigger the cutscene. But like I said, time constraints. It was 30 minutes to the deadline, so I just kind of had to remove the stairs. So now this is kind of an empty training ground
Mm-hmm.
with this one weird little drum loop.
I keep going back to the effects. Like, oh wait, I think it doesn't let me. Hold on. It might be because it's equipped. That's why. Or no, it's not letting me use effects anymore. Oh well. But yeah, I think that'll do it. Because
Okay,
thank you
that's like my
for
piece.
yeah, thank you for coming on for this. And like, again, this is like I haven't really had a lot of experience with like these fan games, and like I know that over the years they sort of changed to being like not not like aesthetically fitting into the same mold as much, or even just like not being so beholden to the gameplay guidelines they set.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, besides how like zoomed out the like graphical style is and stuff, this one seems like pretty true to it. I guess I'd say. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, I don't know. It was a nice time to go through with you. Definitely, like, mostly just like thinking about stuff and like, I feel like I'd have to compare to other like game jam games to like get an idea for like, um, with like other entries and how they would have done and stuff like that. But I don't know. I had a nice time.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for having me on. All that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess I'm also trying to think like I don't know. I had some thought there, but I forgot it. But yeah, I think that'll pretty much just do it for this game of the month, I guess, or this game of this day of the month for this game, I guess. So yeah, see ya.